Views and content expressed in the following program are not representative of ONTV or the Board of Directors. ONTV and its Board of Directors do not endorse the views, thoughts, or content of the following program.
Hello again, and welcome back to Political News, Political Views. I'm Dave Lillis. I'm on the left side of the table, and this is Todd Schleiger. He's on the right side of the table. As always, no idiot boards, no cue cards, no teleprompters, just ad-lib conversation. Our purpose is to bring up issues and bring up different viewpoints. We try to look at things objectively and yet still argue our points.
And basically what we want to do is also to make it so that it gives you something to personally think about. There's a lot of times Dave and I don't agree on much, but we still discuss it pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, we go back and forth. I mean, we've had some shoot 'em up, drag 'em outs. We try to stay in a controlled situation here. One thing we have now is plexiglass between us because I'm pretty sure Todd would like to reach over sometimes and choke me.
No.
I can't blame him. I think he should. But I feel much more protected now. However, one thing with Todd and with myself, being out in the sun, the weather's been great, but what we have now is Todd's about medium well and I'm about medium.
Here's the reason why there's a piece of plexiglass.
Yeah. Now, the thing is where to start.
I've left that opening for you.
All I can do, okay, well, let's open it up this way.
Okay.
All hell done broke loose.
Where?
Everywhere.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, are you talking more about with COVID-19, with
Where do you
the
want
political
to start? I guess I'd like to start with people. Something was told to me by a chef I used to work for. And it was because I used to like to complain and, for all intents and purposes, bitch, which is the national pastime, which now is going to move up even further now that we don't have as much football. We all love to bitch. Now, the thing is, that's all well and good if you know what you're talking about.
There's a lot of people that complain about stuff and they don't really know
they
they're
don't.
talking about, what the basis is of it, or even the facts on it.
And the information that we're getting is so bad. But what Brandy told me was, David, you need to take 2 steps back and look at your life. And you'll see it's not that bad. And I took his advice, and I did it. I did take 2 steps back, and I looked at it objectively. And it is. He was absolutely right. Now, the sad part is the information that we're getting is sketchy at best.
We're getting a little bit from this side of the story, and then you'll go around and you'll get a little bit from this side of the story. And you're right, it is sketchy because we're only getting what they want to tell us from that side of the story, so to speak. And half the time, I've always, as long as I've known you, I'll dig deep into any situation that gets my attention. And you're right, it's sketchy at best, and you have to really dig for the real meaning of the information that you're getting.
Now, because this is our first show back, and we appreciate everyone who's watching us, and for those who have stopped us, on the street and that, and I haven't been hit yet. I do appreciate that. We disagree, and we have the right to disagree as long as there is a substantial argument that can be based on fact. Now, there's a few premises that I brought up in every show, and why should I stop now? Number one, Somebody please tell these jackasses, when you are on TV or radio, you are recorded. You did say it. Now, I know that Nancy Pelosi just had a new doctored situation on YouTube, but for the most part, you are recorded. If you say something, it's going to be picked apart.
Yes.
But you did say it. Don't come back and say, I never said that. Number two, whatever these jackasses do, and the reason the reason for this show is because these people have a direct bearing on our lives. They can make our lives better. They can make our lives worse. Right now,
now you've said that many a times as well, but in my opinion, and this is how I treat it, you say they can make our lives better or make our lives worse. It's only going to be better or worse if we allow it. I mean, yes, they have an aspect where they could raise taxes or lower taxes, and that would make our lives better or worse. But other than that, they don't affect me.
Actually, they do. And this is where I disagree with you on that. Because of the fact that they don't even vote on issues on our behalf. They vote on behalf of, okay, in this case, as much as I wanted to stay away from this, there's no other way around it. Too many vote on the basis of one person and what he thinks. Yeah, Trump.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but okay.
Yeah, no. Number two, they vote for the party. Number three, they vote for the people who finance their campaigns, and they vote not to lose their job. Now, here's the thing.
The majority of it, though, is for the party. Yeah, that's the sad part of it.
But whether it's for the party, the person, the money, whatever, the fact is they are supposed to be representing us. Now, I can speak from fact that when I ran, my intent and my focal point was to cast the vote on behalf of the district and what they thought. Now, when you vote on behalf of the district, that does not mean that you always get what you want.
Right.
However, this is how we feel about an issue, and this is how we want it dealt with.
I'm going to stick up for each and every one of these politicians right now. This is a very few and far between. They all start out with good intentions.
Before you do, please check the class. Okay, go ahead.
But either way, they basically all start out with good intentions.
No.
And most of them do.
I'll say most. I'll give you that.
And the thing is, power and the money corrupts. Some of them, will go up there and say, well, this won't affect me because I'm going in here to do this, this, and this. But at the same time, once they get in there and they see all this money that's floating around, the lobbyists that are on there that are coming up to them and say, hey, I need you to help pass this bill, and we'll do this, this, and this to help your political career, which is wrong to begin with. You know as well as I do, I've always said lobbyists ought to be outlawed. But it's so embedded into our political system, it's going to be a long time before we can get rid of that portion. But I have to think that the majority of them go in there with good intentions, to be honest.
I know I did, and I was called a fool for how I believed and what I did because I took no money.
Well, that's because you weren't corrupted like they were at that time when they were saying this to you.
You be what you want to be.
Yeah.
Now, that was told to me by a politician.
Right.
He told me that you can do what everybody else does, and you'll probably win, or you can do it the right way. He said, you be what you want to be. Well, I chose the latter, and I paid the price for it. Now, I lost. I didn't lie to anybody. I can stand in front of you and tell you everything that I said and everything that I would have done, and it was all true.
Right.
But the others can't do that. Now, the
half
sad
time
part
they can't
is,
remember what they said 5-10 minutes earlier.
Well, I brought up before, the talk that FDR had when they said, well, this group is very conservative. Okay, well, we'll write the speech for conservatism. This one's very liberal. And they said, well, write it that way. So that's what he did. Then they said, well, wait a minute, now we have a mix of them. He said, well, put the two together and they'll all love us. And they did, because he told them what they wanted to hear. Well, that's not the fact. In this particular case, in our situation now, we cannot go by what we want to hear because people are dying. Now, there was one...
But they're still going to go by what they want to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the left, the Democrats, and you've got this very far left portion of the Democrats. Now, if you go through by all media, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and all them are extreme leftists, okay? Well, AOC, I guarantee you she is. But anyways, they seem to be the ones, according to mainstream media, that are leading the party.
Okay, I get that. I got to interrupt.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I changed your thought.
What is the left?
From what I've been taught and brought up and from what I've learned, because like you, I have ran for public office as well, is the Democratic Party is the left.
The left meaning what? And the right meaning what?
The right is, from what I'm my understanding, is the conservative part of the politics. The left are the liberal side of the politics.
Okay. Conservative means what?
Well, what it's supposed to mean is be fiscally responsible and
That's doable.
have a meaningful, in my opinion, I have a brain fart going on here, lack of words, but they should have a very meaningful purpose towards I don't want to say centrist because that's who I am, but they should have a conservative point of view, meaning fiscal responsibility, and to what? That's a hard question to answer. You really got me
Don't
going.
spend money you don't have.
Basically, yes.
Okay, then would you say that most people are like that in their home?
Yes,
So most people are conservative.
you would think, but when you start talking politics with them, supposedly there's more liberal people than there is conservative when it comes to politics.
Well, see,
but every one of us are conservative when it comes to our own finances.
All right.
Because you're not going to see, I'm not going to be liberalist enough to go out and just foolishly throw my money away because I have bills I have to be responsible for. So I consider myself a conservative.
Okay, then tell me the left. Explain that one.
Currently, what the left is?
Currently or in the past or whatever. I mean, it's
The parties have changed so much.
No, I think the tag has changed.
Well, the party has too. I mean, you can't deny. I mean, years ago, if they would have had, well, they wouldn't have had a character like AOC in the Democratic Party years ago, because she would have been sequestered or set down in the quiet seats over here.
Why?
Because they were, back then, the Democratic Party was supposed to be the party of the people, supposedly, and the Republicans were the party of the businesses, the business side of our lives, corporate side, I should say, and not anymore.
Well, no, because my understanding is that the Republican side was that of voters and people's rights, and the Democratic side was majority rules. Or do I have that mixed up?
I'd say a little bit of both. I wouldn't
The
say
thing is,
mixed up.
as far as, all right, you brought up AOC, so I'll try to take that one. AOC, like any other politician, I've been tagged both, but more conservative than liberal. I'm trying to figure out what the hell does liberal mean? Does liberal mean open the bank vault and everybody help yourself? Because if that be the case, there's a whole lot of liberal Republicans that have been in there too. So don't tag one over the other. However, getting back to AOC, now she brought up the Green New Deal. Mm-hmm. Now I remember, and I'm probably dating myself, which is fine. I'm an old. If I sound like an old fart, it's because I am.
Old or young, they all smell the same.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. The thing is that I remember when Lake Erie was so bad that you could start fires on it. Now, when people complained about that, was that being liberal or was that just being the right thing to do? When you see the climate change, and to deny that there is climate change, it's a hoax. It's a hoax if you're not making money on it.
Even if, and now climate changes constantly.
And I'm only bringing that up because of AOC.
We only, I mean, yes, you have to think about it. With us being on the planet as we are going to make some change to the climate.
Sure, that's
But
understandable.
years ago, I mean, I'm talking a long time ago, they can check the records of how the atmosphere was and all this through these ice collections that they drill down, ice cores. There was higher concentrations of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide on the planet before we were even here.
But we weren't here.
Well,
And
that's
that
why
might
everything
explain
grew
it.
bigger back then, too.
Well, that might explain why we weren't here. We couldn't live in that environment.
Well, no, the oxygen content was higher and everything was just,
Then
we
where were
weren't
we?
there yet. It was the dinosaurs and stuff like that. But
Okay.
either way, back then, the carbon monoxide was higher than what it is now. Okay, even if we were to all go green right now, every country in the world, which it won't happen to begin with, we couldn't make that big of a change on this entire planet. I mean, you've got both sides, scientists on both sides. You got some that are doomsdayers, and every time they say, I think it was Al Gore said that if we don't do such and such by 2012, we won't be around. Of course, 2012 came, and then they extended it to 2020. Now we're here at 2020, and they've extended it to 2040.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I mean, they just want to keep passing this along. But you've got scientists on both sides that agree with it, and then you got the ones that don't agree with it.
Okay, but
it's money is all it is, because
But there is something wrong.
the more that they turn around and make everybody worry about something, the more money they're going to make off of it.
First of all, you have those that say it's a hoax, when in fact it is not a hoax. And then you have those that say we're going to die tomorrow, which that isn't true either.
Right.
However, both sides are partially right. And if we came to that area and we said, okay, all right, we'll meet you halfway. There is some things wrong. Let's fix them. And then this side.
What are you going to fix that's going to make it at least something better?
Well, if you lock everything up and you fire the people that are trying to tell us, you're not going to find out. And that's exactly what they've done up to this point. Yes, Trump did do it.
Well,
now
in your mind and eyes, Trump has done everything, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
at this particular moment, you want to be the boss, you've got to pay the cost. And he's the boss, and you got to pay the cost.
Well,
It's
we can
very
do that
funny.
about Whitmer, too.
Well, wait a minute. It's very funny how before Trump got in, the carnage was there, yet I didn't see it because
Carnage.
remember he said that Obama had a 45% unemployment rate, but the press didn't talk about it. Now he's got a 10%.
I think he exaggerated.
Oh, you think he exaggerated?
That. Yeah.
Well, now he's got a 10%. I can see the 10. Can't figure out how I missed the 45%. But let's
Look,
put shove Trump off the table and let's bring up voting.
Okay.
Okay, right now, the reason I brought up the liberal and conservative is because people are being labeled, and you don't need to be labeled. You can be liberal on one issue and conservative on the other. Each issue is separate. Now, there are people that are stuck on one issue, and that's it. All the other issues, I don't really care about. I have an aunt.
They're the one-issue voters.
I have an aunt who is She has one question: pro-life, pro-choice. And whatever answer you give is where you're going. Okay, now that is her choice, and that's fine if she wants to vote that way.
Right.
That is her vote. I don't have the right to tell her she's right or wrong.
Correct.
Okay. I do think that everybody needs to vote because in this election, and I'm going to bring this up over and over and over again, this election is 100% different. Take Biden out of it. Take Kanye out of it. I don't know where the hell that shit came from.
You know, he's only going to draw off of Biden anyways.
Oh, well, first of all, they are starting to find that Trump is backing him. I know that's another issue. Okay, let's let that one play out. We'll bring that up in another show.
Okay.
But right now, what I see on this side of the glass,
Literally.
and I'm going to back up a little bit, is we are going to go from democracy to autocracy, if, depending on how we vote. You are not voting for a person now because the two candidates, the two major candidates right now, will go in two different directions. Now, I'm going to ask you three questions. Give me the best answers you can. Where were you right now in 2015? Tell me about your life.
2015 at this time?
2015, yeah.
I was running for governor for the state of Michigan.
Do you want me to help you with some of that?
Okay, go ahead.
You came and went as you pleased. You wanted to go to a movie, you went to a movie. You wanted
Correct.
to go to a restaurant, you went to a restaurant. Went to the beach, went to a concert. Could meet up with your friends, have barbecue in the background.
Right.
You could do all these things. We didn't think of where we are now.
Okay.
Okay, we had a democratic life, or a free life, or a normal life. Let's try
Normal freedoms.
Let's try that. Normal freedom. That's a good one. Okay. Where do you think you'll be a year from now?
Living my life the way I want to live it, just like I did back in 2015.
Is that what you think?
That's what I know.
That's what you think.
Yes.
So what you
I'm
did
not going to. You're talking about COVID. I'm not.
not
live in
not
fear
just
of
COVID,
COVID,
not just COVID, because
I mean,
unemployment and the economy make a difference
The
too.
economy's going to pick up again because it always does come back eventually. But with COVID,
How long and eventually?
well, it could be after I'm dead and gone too. But either way, it's going to
be.
pick up. But I mean, we've got COVID. It's a brand new virus. Okay, we've had the virus for the flu, which is H1N1, the swine flu. Okay, that was in what 2010, I want to say it came out. We've
around there, yeah.
bird flu. We've had all these
Avian
other
flu.
viruses.
The avian flu kind of died out. I mean, that one was very similar to COVID in March, when I remember I was at work and I heard Trump saying that there were 15 cases of COVID, and 15 cases was like the first person that died in Washington, but 15 cases just didn't sound like,
Now,
why are we...
I was in China in November of 2019.
Okay, I'm talking about March.
I know.
Okay, all right.
All right. November is when this supposedly came out. Trump brought it up in December.
No, he knew about it in December. He didn't actually bring it up.
No, it wasn't something that they were worried about at that time.
Yeah, right,
They
correct,
were just
correct, true.
correctly. They were just watching to see what was going on.
And selling medical supplies to China.
Well,
Thank you. Have a nice day.
They needed them.
Okay. All right. No problem. That's business.
Of course,
That
they
was
should
in
have done it with
December and
us
January.
too. But yes. You know, we've. Who was it? You remember Sylvia Brown? The one
She was
psychic
a
or
psychic.
something
She was
that
on
was on
Montel
Montel
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, they say
she
was
brought this
reasonable.
up about the COVID back in, what was it, when was Montel Williams on?
Oh, it's been a
80s,
while.
90s.
Yeah.
And she said it was going to come within a year, it will go away, and then it'll pop up again in 10 years after that. So we have to wait and see. But she predicted 2020 for it.
Yeah, but you still haven't answered
Okay.
my question. Where will you be?
I'm going to be living my life.
Okay.
I'm not going to let COVID slow me down. I still currently, I go out to restaurants. I don't go to movies. I never did, but I have Netflix and all that for that stuff. I go to work every day. It isn't hampering me anywhere. I go out and meet people still. I go out on dates still. So, it's just, nothing's going to change. I just don't see as many people gathering around anymore.
Schools will have changed. Being in public will have changed. The economy will have changed. Jobs will have changed. Could it change for the better? Hard to say. At this point, a year from now, will surely not be 2015. And the reason I bring that up now,
Are you sure?
the reason I bring that up is because the leader of the country will make a change. Now, if let's, for just sake of argument, take the two names. At this point, Trump is going to make a change which he has been working on, and it will not be a democracy as we knew it. If Biden gets in, Biden's going to have a mess and a half.
Biden gets in, he's not going to be in long.
Why do you say that?
Because I think that man mentally, he's showing heavy signs of dementia. I don't think he's, being honest, I don't think he's healthy enough to be running for president.
Well, if you don't sound like the alt-right
I'm
radio
going by
people-
just what I've seen. I've sat there and watched my mother go through dementia, my grandmother go through dementia, and he's right down there. Look at Reagan made it through with his Alzheimer's, but his last year
But
he was
Reagan
having
also
issues.
surrounded himself with people who cared about the country. And
I'm using him as an example.
Okay.
Biden, he's a placeholder. That's all he is a placeholder. The Democratic Party doesn't have a candidate worth
No,
what they did. They could have picked Cory Booker. He would have been a great candidate. They could have picked, Kamala Harris.
Republicans could have picked John Kasich. There's some good
John Kasich is now a Democrat.
No, he's not a Democrat, but he is siding with them.
He's
But
now
there's a
a
whole lot of
Democrat.
Republicans that are siding with him. There's very few Democrats, although there are some, that are siding with Trump.
There's a lot of Democrats siding with Trump. There's a lot.
Right
I still
now.
think here in 2016, tell me if I'm wrong with this election between Hillary and Trump. We probably had the largest closet voters in the history of our country.
You say we had the largest closet voters, yet she had almost 3 million more votes than he did.
But it isn't the popular vote that elects our president.
And there were rogue people that cast their vote for Trump that were told no. And the Supreme Court ruled on that just recently.
Yep.
They went rogue. So now that would have turned. Now, there
It
was
doesn't
also,
matter.
Hold it.
It doesn't matter on that. The fact is, according to our Constitution, it is not the popular vote that selects the president. It's
But the
Electoral
electors are
College.
told how to vote.
They're told how to vote by their state.
And the Supreme Court ruled that they should not have gone rogue. Some got fined, some got fired, some got their hands slapped. But the fact is, okay, I don't think it would have made a difference with the amount of them that did that.
Right.
However, now, I can't tell you would it have been different with Hillary versus Trump. That's speculation, and that's in the mind of whatever you want to think. However, will say this, that right now, when you say a year from now you'll live your life, right now your life has changed exponentially.
No.
Yes.
No.
But then why are you wearing these?
Because Governor Whitcomb says I have to.
Because 163,000 people
Because
have died.
she's being a
There's-
tyrannic governor for the state of Michigan.
I have never been a fan of hers, but I say she's done a great job.
No.
Yes.
She's destroyed and lost. She's already on the verge of being like Granholm for losing jobs.
How do you figure that?
Because she's already cost. You go out and talk to the public, the people that have mom and pop businesses. There's thousands of businesses that will never open again, that have been open. They're no longer going to be open because they can't afford to. They've been forced to shut down for 5 months now. And now she's extended it another month without going by the Constitution of Michigan. She's playing on a 1945 law when the 1976 law should supersede. Judges have even said 1976 ruling should supersede the 1945.
Then where is Mnuchin with that so-called money for the mom and pop shops, and why did big business get it and keep it? Why did, for example, here's a stupid example, but one just the same. Harvard got money. Trump got on TV and chastised them about taking it. Well, you sent it to them. They didn't take it. Number one. Number two, the school for his son got $9 million and said, we are not giving it back. That school, for some reason, isn't opening. Imagine that. The point is that money was supposed to go for small businesses, and small businesses, some got it, but a huge mogul down in Houston, he got a shitload of money. Now I'm gonna have some fun now. The airlines wanted $50 billion, which they got.
Not once, twice.
Twice, and they got it. Mm-hmm. Okay, they have scores of money stashed, as do hospitals, as do cruise ships. Cruise ships now want $50 billion from Trump, which they will probably get. But the thing is, those ships are not American flagged. There's a few of them.
Right.
The companies are not American companies. The crews, other than the ones that are American flagged, and they're few and far between, they want the money to line their pockets because they cannot sail those ships.
Do you know which ones are getting the money?
Well, we don't know yet. They haven't got it yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could be
lobbying for it.
They could be only the ones that are serving.
No,
American.
It's across the board. It's across the board.
I don't know if I would say that because I can't see the U.S. bailing out a European. Well, they could be European because there are allies.
The headquarters is in the United States. It's just like with the tax law. One senator from Florida wrote in the margins 2 days before it was voted on another tax deduction for cruise ships.
Okay.
So when you're writing this in the margin...
Because I do know the airlines, on the airline side, it's only going to American Airlines, not the company American Airlines. I'm talking about...
Right, American companies. But the lobbying for the cruise ships is going for that $50 billion.
Do you think they're doing this on the same level that they did for the auto industry?
Well, no, they can't sail. And the reason they can't sail is because the air is recirculated.
Do you think the government is doing this bailout to help these major industries on the same basis that it was with the auto industry?
Well, now, wait a minute. With the auto industry, it was Ford, GM, and Chrysler, and the UAW, was it not?
Yes.
Okay, Mercedes and Toyota and that, they didn't get anything.
You're not catching the question. Do you think it's on the same basis that government's feeling that these companies are too big to fail? Because see, I didn't believe in the bailout for the big three.
Okay.
And actually, I should rephrase that: the big two, because Ford didn't take a dime.
True, very true. And GM and Chrysler both paid that money back.
It doesn't matter if they paid it back.
They paid it back.
It doesn't matter to me.
Why?
No company is too big to fail. They could have done the same thing that Ford did. They could have restructured.
I won't argue that. No, you're right. You're right on that one.
That's what I think any of these businesses should do.
But see, here's an issue that comes up all the time. American businesses have failed because of workers. It's always the workers. The workers made it fail. Am I sounding liberal? The workers made the thing fail. And in some cases, that is true. In some cases. But many times, it's the higher-ups. Mm-hmm. The ones that sit at the top, that make decisions that filter down.
Correct.
And sound like a horse's ass.
The majority of them that I've seen were the failures, well, I shouldn't say I've seen. A lot of times the failures come in because they get too big of an idea. They want to grow too fast.
But that is...
That's a lot of times where it fails.
Would that be liberal or would that be conservative?
That's just a business owner. I can't answer if that's liberal or conservative.
Well, then why is it the employee's fault?
I never said it was the employee's
Yeah,
fault.
they did. How about JCPenney?
Then-
JCPenney just about out. I mean, look at the number of companies that are going out now.
Amazon has put Sears and JCPenney's in.
Well,
And now Amazon wants to buy their stores.
Yeah.
Their empty buildings, I should say.
yeah, well, what they're doing in Pontiac is, I mean, I drove by there. It's like,
Is it that Summit Mall or whatever that is? over
no,
there?
no, that's something different. There where the Silverdome was.
Oh, okay.
But getting back to the issue at hand is voting liberal or conservative. The fact is that you're not really voting liberal or conservative unless you're voting for an issue. Now, like I said, with my aunt and her issue, that was an either or. But that was one issue. Now, when you're voting for many issues or for someone who's going to represent you, you have to vote for... You have to look at the whole picture. And we don't. We tie ourselves to a party. The party, if I get behind this party, I'm on the winning side. Well, there is no winning side. Democrats are not winners. Republicans are not winners. Independents are not winners. I will say this, I think independents are more, if you want to pick a winner more, then you probably should pick an independent because they...
The only problem is we have a duopoly.
True, very true.
We
And
have-
that's sad.
I mean, you can go out there right now, here in the state of Michigan, I can answer this one for. If you run as a Democrat or Republican and you go out to gather signatures, you only need 15,000 signatures. If you run under the other four parties or five
Yeah,
parties,
that's not fair.
they
That's not
have
fair.
to have 30,000
Yeah,
signatures.
and that is the
They make it twice as hard for that reason.
Yeah, because they wanna
it's
own it.
It's an issue of power and control.
my point is that.
But the people won't vote hardly in a major election, a statewide election. The majority of the time, the voters will not vote hardly at all outside of a Democrat or a Republican.
True.
Because I ran for governor in 2018 against Gretchen as an independent.
I had Republicans who agreed with everything I said until I said that
Until
word.
they
Once
found
I
out you're a
said that
Democrat.
word, where was the plexiglass then?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean,
And the thing was, they agreed with everything I said.
until you said you're a Democrat.
Yeah. Now, a Democrat, I guess right then and there I grew a tail or something. Or my horn showed up. I don't know. The thing was, with the way things are now, we are not voting on issues. We are voting on who is the enemy. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And you will pay a heavy price for it. Every one of us, regardless of how you vote. Whether
Well,
you
I know-
vote Democrats are the good guys or Republicans are the good guys, right now, as we stand, you will lose. Because neither party is right and neither party is wrong. They are supposed to work together on our behalf. But our
They
behalf...
won't do that.
Okay.
I mean, look at
Then
the
stop
current
voting.
situation. See, I had a friend of ours, you know Eric. He believes that we ought to have a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House. I said, no, you need one of those offices, whether it be the House, the Senate, or the White House. One of them needs to be opposite. And he says, well, they'll never get anything done. I said, the problem is, if everything is all three the same, most of the time what happens is you get a runaway government. Nobody to actually be the real checks and balance.
Okay, there's a saying that I think I brought up before, maybe I haven't. There's two things in life, the way things are and the way things ought to be. Well, we know how they ought to be.
Well, we think we know. Yes,
Well,
I know what
yeah,
you mean.
government should get up there and they should work together and they should argue and come to a compromise and do it for the good of the people and yo and a bottle of rum.
Unlike our current governor, Whitholm,
Well,
who wants to play total authoritarian. She just gets me so frustrated.
That's on your side of the glass.
Here, you want me to
Okay.
put the mask on?
But the fact of the matter is that that's how it ought to be. Now, looking at what we have is a damn disgrace. Whether you're a
is.
Democrat or a Republican,
It
is
is. I
a
agree
damn
with you on that.
disgrace. And what's sad is that people are starving, people are hungry, people have no jobs, they're scared, and the future does not look promising.
It does to me.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
So then
I've
you're going to vote
always-
for Biden.
No.
Oh, well, okay then.
I got to vote for somebody who has. I'll probably vote for Jorgensen.
Well, I've narrowed it down to a Biden or a tuna sandwich.
You'll get more out of the tuna sandwich, I
Well,
think.
that's fine because
Because at least there's flavor.
yeah. Whole wheat bread.
Right. Little twist. Look, Biden, he just has so many gaffes when he comes out to
Yeah,
speak.
but take Biden out of the picture. This is an issue of what we have now. It's a disgrace.
Well, as far as the parties go, yes.
Yeah, the whole damn thing.
But as far as pre-COVID, I don't think everything was that bad. We had a good economy going. We had the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We had the highest employment of the minority races, all of them across the board. And part of that is because, we had tax cuts come in where jobs were hiring. We had increase in pay rates. It might have only been 3% and 4%, but it's still an increase.
Okay, I want to ask you something because you brought this up. You said that we had H1N1, SARS,
The
MERS.
swine
Yeah.
flu was H1N1.
Okay, and Obama was in office then.
Yeah, during that
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. And he took responsibility for it.
What do you mean he took responsibility for it?
He did something about it and took responsibility for it. He was in charge.
Well, we already had a flu
That's not
shot.
the point. That wasn't my question. My question was he took responsibility for it.
I wouldn't say he took responsibility, but he took charge of the CDC took charge of it.
Well,
We didn't have an outbreak or
he
a
was
pandemic or
responsible
epidemic.
for doing something.
It happened, yes.
Okay.
And your point is?
Do I need a point?
Trump's pretty much started taking care of the things that had
Trump
to be
said
done.
it, I'm not responsible.
He's not responsible for the virus.
I'll give him that.
I mean, you
But
and I.
he is
you and I-
responsible for the country.
No, you and I have had this discussion just recently. Each
Yeah,
state
but we were
is,
over the phone so that we couldn't hurt each other.
we got this nice piece of plexiglass.
But he is
Each-
responsible for the shores from sea to shining sea.
No, he's only responsible. The only thing Trump is actually legally and constitutionally responsible for is protecting our borders.
That's not what he said. He said,
I don't
I'm
care
in
what he
total
says.
charge. He said he's in total
Because
charge.
here's-
I am in total charge. That's what he said.
Each
and he
state
said, I'm
is
not
responsible for within themselves. Every with our discussion.
So like when he said, well, Gavin Newsom was nice to me, so I sent him stuff. He was nice to me.
Gavin Newsom's an idiot. The governor of California.
Well, that was two idiots talking to each
Yes,
other. then.
I'll give you that one. I'll
right.
give you that one.
I think the governors
Hmm?
have done better.
They
Not
should be
all.
doing. They should be doing better than Trump should be doing. For a simple fact,
It's their state.
I mean, that's what that's
oh, please.
what that's what
You're
the
telling
term.
me that Brian Kemp is a good governor? How about the governor of Texas?
Abbott.
How about Florida? Do you think that DeSantos'
DeSantos?
son is learning how to make coffins?
Actually, they're not.
He
doing too
built a
bad.
wall?
They're already on their way back.
He taught his son how to build a wall. 163,000 people have died in a matter of a little over 5 months. 5 months. That's obnoxious. 5 months.
And the prediction, I guess, is what 240,000 by the end of the year.
I heard 300, a possible 300,000, but the fact is,
How many people?
But
What are they
wait a
going to do?
minute,
Now wait. All right, COVID goes by the end of the year. Okay, what are they going to do when November comes around and the flu comes back? They're going to make us. They're going to force us to wear masks during flu season now.
well, I guess it's your choice. What do you want to do?
Oh, it's not our choice now.
No. I want to ask
Okay,
you. I'm going to ask you.
COVID affects older people more than it affects
That's why
younger
95,000 kids have been tested positive up to this point.
How many have died?
97,000.
How many have died?
3 so far as I know.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at, though. I'm not saying it's not bad. Okay, COVID is affecting us,
Well,
the
I'm not
older
gonna-
generations, mainly, or
At this point,
of
yes.
us, and us who have underlying conditions. The flu is the opposite. It affects the young more than it affects the old.
I'm not going to argue with you on defending that it's not that bad.
I never
and
said it
me
wasn't
saying-
that bad.
And me saying that it's the end of the world. Neither one of us is
I
right.
mean, we've got issues with all these other diseases, and you haven't seen anybody jump in like they did with COVID. The only reason they jumped in with COVID, and this is just my opinion, the only reason they jumped in with COVID as hard as they have, it was new. It was unknown. Okay?
Yeah,
Every one of
true.
these viruses that we've dealt with and the ones that are coming are all jumping from animals.
Well, the one from the AIDS virus, they still haven't fixed that one.
No.
they
But
still
yet,
haven't. But yet it.
you know why? In my opinion on this one, and I'm not even going to go there.
Go ahead.
No.
No, I take a few shots
because-
at you. I need one.
It wasn't a shot at you.
Yeah, it's going to be.
No, it isn't.
All right.
But the people that when AIDS came out in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
they're big. You know, when they first come out, they said it was monkeys, that it came from
Yeah, I
monkeys.
heard that,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
But then they said, well, it's only a virus that homosexuals,
Yeah.
gays, lesbians are the only ones that get it.
I remember that, yes.
And so it became the homosexual virus.
True.
Okay.
It was at one time.
They just want to put a title on all this stuff, and they want to inflate it so that it puts fear into people. They didn't want to cure AIDS because it's a moneymaker. It is a moneymaker, just like COVID's going to turn into a moneymaker for these pharmaceutical companies.
It is for the people who make coffins, yeah.
Well,
Or
and for the
urns.
pharmaceuticals. That virus, that vaccine that they're coming out with, or will be coming out with, it's being pushed through so fast. Henry Ford called me because I have underlying conditions. I'm perfect for this test or this trial. I said, hell no. I'm not touching that until I know it's safe. I'd rather take my chances going around working, going to restaurants, and take my chances to catch COVID than I would rather have them put that garbage in my body right away.
Well, the fact of the matter is, don't wear a mask
But they
and you're
have
heading
not.
for that.
They have not. You go to a doctor and you don't feel well. Oh, you have a virus. There's nothing we can do. You have to let it work its course. But this one, all of a sudden, they're pushing out a vaccine. Doesn't that make you think? They haven't been able to put a vaccine out for the flu in all these years. They haven't put a vaccine out for HIV/AIDS. They haven't put it out there for Ebola.
Here's
Well,
the
Ebola,
thing.
I think, is a bacterial, but I
Here's
might
the
be
thing,
wrong.
that we don't have the answers to all these things. And as you get new information, things change. So statements like nothing was left to us, the country was left, you don't have to say that because that's not true.
Right.
But the fact is, it will change from now, and 2 months from now, it'll change more. As you find out new information, you have to find out. You have to see what it is.
They've had all this new information for years with HIV,
Well, wait a
AIDS.
minute, COVID
They
is-
haven't done that.
COVID is another. Well, they're still working on it.
Well, they've got
long did it
the
take-
pharmaceutical companies
how
are
long-
making billions on it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I
How
haven't.
long-
Nothing I've said has been a lie.
I didn't say you lied. I never said
I'm
you
just
lied.
telling you, this is money makers for the pharmaceutical. That's why you have the mainstream media keeping up the fear tactics to all this. I'm not saying that it's not nothing to be afraid of, because it does. People like me and up in age, seniors, and people who have underlying issues, yes, we have a chance of dying from getting this, but we also, may survive if we're
Yes,
lucky.
but-
But I look at it this way: if I go out there and get it and I die, I don't have to pay no more
Okay, now
bills.
look, if you take the mask and you don't wear the mask and you get the COVID virus, and I hope you don't,
Right.
and you die, that was your choice, and that's fine. That's fine. That was your choice. You chose to do it. No problem. Just like, well, let's go back to the motorcycle issue. If you chose not to wear a helmet, your motorcycle went down, you cracked your skull open, and
That's still the main
okay,
part of
that-
it. It's our choice.
However, in this particular case, if you carry the virus and you can spread it to 5, and they spread it, and it keeps going and
It's
going
the
and
same
going.
damn
In this
scenario
case-
as it is with the flu.
Well, yeah, but with the
Now the flu can kill us too. We lose over
know,
over
why do they-
180,000 people a year from the flu.
and that justifies. Okay,
It's-
so then the COVID is no big deal. Then why are we making a big deal out of it?
Because they want to make money. They want a scare tactic.
Well,
They're
why don't
using
we
this-
make money off the flu then?
They do. You go out there and get your flu shot, don't you?
Most of them are free.
No, it's not free. You just don't pay for it.
Well, okay, to me it's free.
I
didn't pay
don't
for
believe
it.
in taking the flu shots. I took it one time. I got sicker than
Then why
shit
won't you go down there and make the $1,000?
because I don't trust them with a new vaccine.
It's free. The vaccine is free.
No, it's actually not free because then they'll give me
they'll give you
$1,000
$1,000.
if I survive. Hey, you know what? Just add that $1,000 to my life insurance policy to make sure my daughter
When you
gets the
recover
extra.
from the flu, when those who recover from the flu, they move on and go on with their life. But right now, with COVID, they're finding out more and more.
They
of the
have
aftermath.
underlying issues with it. Yes.
Yes. Now, can we tell what's going to happen? No,
No.
not really, because it's going to take time.
Right. That's just like every strain of flu comes along. The rhino virus. That's the common cold.
Yeah.
We've had that for.
But they've learned, okay, the stuff that they have will bring it down and it'll go away with little or no aftermath,
And you want to get a laugh out of that?
unless you sneeze.
What's what's the common thing that they use to help you fight the rhinovirus?
I don't know.
Zinc. All your emergency type things, it's mainly zinc.
Okay.
Zinc is one of the things that they use to fight with COVID already,
All right.
along with hydroxychloroquine and all those.
Oh, geez.
Hey, that came from China, the hydroxychloroquine. We had a gentleman in New Jersey that this was towards the beginning. I think this was in March.
And Trump's 29,000 units that he bought from India.
I don't know about that.
That is true, yes.
I don't know. If
Check
he
it
did, he
out.
did. But
It could it be that he
this
wanted
gentleman
to
was
corner the
very
market
sick
on
and
it?
he was on the verge of dying. They actually called China's hospital and they told the doctors in New Jersey to use the malaria drug and mix it with an antiviral HIV drug. It cured the guy.
Okay.
That's part of the malaria portion of it was hydroxychloroquine.
Okay, 500,
I don't know what the other one was, but there was
5
zinc
million
included.
people have gotten the COVID. And 700,
That's the count that they're saying. All right, I've got 2 doctor friends have their own.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
thing.
I'm waiting for this.
They have made the comment that we don't know if that's in the actual count. All right, just like Michigan with the death count, last I heard was over the radio. They keep doing it every
Over
morning.
6,000.
66,250.
Okay, go ahead.
The CDC only has 5,800 listed.
Okay, and then, so you're saying that they're overextending.
I believe so.
Okay.
There's
then,
people like in Florida that they had this thing where they were saying that, and I'll just use this as an example because I don't remember the gentleman's name, but they were saying he got tested here and it came back positive. A week later, he went back over there and was retested and he was still positive. And then finally, on a week later, he went back and it was still positive. So he had 3 positives for the same person because it's 3 tests. What I want to know is how many tests has Michigan done?
okay, now let me ask
Overall,
you,
because right now we're at what, 88,000 cases?
how about the doctors that have said there's people that have died at home that never went to the hospital? That they, how many deaths were there and how many people have had it and got through it? Now, I know of 3 people who did have it.
Right.
and they had it bad. So the thing is, we're not getting accurate information. However, the fact is that the information that we do have is out there.
Well, what I don't
And
like,
think
if Gretchen needs to
163
come back, and I'm really, really ticked off at her because all she ever wants to say is from the science and the data, but she has never shown
Okay,
the
I'm
science
going
and the
to
data.
put a situation up to you that has been come up twice. Once from Henry Ford Hospital, where I used to work.
Right.
And the other one was from a nurse in, I want to say, Arizona.
Okay.
She had 1 ventilator and 3 patients. I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
Neither would I.
When you take the position of governor, you are responsible for the people of your state.
Right.
Okay.
But you should-
You have to make some rough decisions.
Okay.
Now, if I was in her place, and like I said, you know that I was not a fan of hers. You know that, and anyone on this show knows that. However, I think she did a good job. I think Andrew Cuomo did a great job. I
When
think the
we
ones,
do our next show, you better bring your A game for this one because me and you are going to go back and forth on Whitmer and Cuomo.
Okay.
So make sure you get your stuff together for that one because
Well,
I'm going
I-
to show you. I'm going to show you some numbers, and I'm going to show you things that Gretchen should have done, and we would have had even fewer. She wants to take credit for supposedly saving thousands of lives, but she refuses
Well,
to
wait a
take the
minute.
credit for killing.
Trump
A third
took
of them.
credit for millions and millions of lives. And before we go, I want to tell you about the Hershey bar defense. I have eaten a Hershey bar every single day since March 1st, and I have not gotten the COVID at all.
Good deal.
Which means that if you eat a Hershey bar every day,
That means
You're
you've
protected.
eaten. That means you've eaten a bunch of bug parts
and if you're a little
every day.
nuts, then you eat it with almonds.
There
But
you
the
go.
fact of the matter is, a Hershey bar will cure you. And that's
From-
horseshit.
Yeah, okay.
The same as some of the stuff that they have been saying to us.
I don't know. I take hydroxychloroquine twice a week.
You take it with your Pop-Tarts?
No, I don't eat Pop-Tarts.
Well, unfortunately, our time is up. The glass didn't break, so that's good. So maybe we'll have another round. Maybe they should do wrestling and boxing this way, huh? With a
go
piece
too
of glass in
close.
between us. Anyway, please, if you have any comments, let us know. We hope we struck a nerve to make you think, make you check some things out. We may be wrong. Good chance that we are. Please check us out. And we hope you'll return and watch us again.
And with that being said, if you have any questions that you'd like to reach out to us at, you can go to toddanddavid2020@gmail.com.
Yeah, to make them easy questions.
Yeah, so Dave can answer them.
We're going to get a thicker glass. I'll see you later.
Views and content expressed in the previous program are not representative of ONTV or the Board of Directors. ONTV and its Board of Directors do not endorse the views, thoughts, or content of the previous program.